I've been a professional Sorare player for the last 2 years. What does that even mean? All I do is play Sorare for a job. It's all I do and make content, explainer tutorial videos and other cool stuff. And over the last 2 years of being a professional Sorare player, I am continuously looking at my club, looking at my strategies and redeveloping them time and time again. And that involves a lot of different things. You know, the main way to make money on Sorare, of course, is by winning competitions, and that's paid out in a number of different ways. And if you're looking for a real explainer on that, there's a link in the description of this video. It'll be on the top of the screen now if you're interested in learning more about that exactly. And the second way, of course, is trading in the market. You buy somebody who's maybe looking like not as good a footballer, and then they become a really good football player, and then you can sell them for more money to somebody else who is after a really good football player for their fantasy team. And whether you're starting out today with absolutely nothing or you've been around the block a couple of times, you need to be considering both avenues of strategy for your club's progression, for your club's development, how to get it bigger, how to get it stronger. And the best way to look after both of those avenues, in my opinion, is to always make sure your SO5 lineups, your SO5 teams have got positive horizons. Recently, I've been doing member videos where I'm doing a series called Cards on the Table, where I'm walking all the members through live trades and decisions I'm making on my cards in real time that normally I wouldn't put out there in the public domain because maybe it's a bit sensitive who I'm trying to buy and sell, etc. And kind of inspired by that, I'm at that time of the year where I take my whiteboard in my clubhouse, in my studio here. Maybe you've got a notepad and pen, maybe you've got a little file on your phone, but I have reset mine back to zero. And I thought, in the spirit of that, this is a great opportunity for that kind of behind the curtain experience for you guys to see a professional player, as it were, building a strategy out from zero, getting the lay of the land, how to prioritize a division, how to evaluate squad depth, and exactly those decisions on who to keep and who to sell. I see a lot of Sorare players, again, brand new, starting out, been around the block a few times, but ever struggling to nail in key strategies and really identify what they're playing the game for. And there's an analogy or a synonym or whatever you call it that always jumps to mind when I'm thinking about this type of topic, and it's a boat with no rudder goes nowhere. I think goals and stuff like that can be a bit cheesy and be a wee bit over the top when it comes to Sorare, but you know, that saying, whatever it is, rings in my mind as we talk about this. So in the video today, I'm going to be walking you through a clean whiteboard we're going to start off with, and I'm going to build out the strategies, the foundations of prioritizing divisions, managing depth, and everything else I've just mentioned. The full version of the video will be found on the YouTube members page. If you go to the channel homepage, click on the members tab, there's details there of how much it is and how to join. We do a weekly stream, we've got Telegram groups, we do giveaways, and obviously there's exclusive content like this as well involved. But at any point in the video today, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel, share and retweet and all that good stuff, guys. If you're new to Sorare and you haven't even opened your account yet, please make sure you do so by clicking on the link in the description of this video. By doing so, you'll get yourself a free limited card. It's the best way to sign up. It's the way everyone signs up. And if you sign up to Sorare without clicking that link and getting your free limited, once you've bought 5 from the market, you will be 1 card worse off than everyone else. If you get stuck, if you've got any questions, hit me up in the comment section and I'll come and sort you out. And let's just get stuck into it. Now, this feels like the best time to make this video because finally we've got so much revealed from Sorare. We've got so much meat on the bone of what we've experienced over the last 2 or 3 seasons to this point now, as well as what we know is foreshadowed and is forever unraveling before us in terms of product slice of life, quality of life developments, as well as proper competition enhancements, prize pool buffs, new experiences, new things that we could never have imagined of being implemented in the club shop, never mind on the leaderboard. Now, coming to play Sorare for fun has got to be the #1 thing. First of all, it is football. In my opinion, you've got to like football, and if you love football, then all the better. But that aside, when it comes into the divisions and you're thinking, okay, I've got a budget of X amount, what is there out there? What should I be trying to win? Now, for me personally, I am a super mega fan. I call myself, I say football is my religion, in essence, So everything and anything works for me. But I prioritize above all else, being a professional player, money. The way most people try and yield money out of playing Sorare, of course, as we know, is through the capped divisions. In the cap 240, by hitting a set score with a team, they pay you money guaranteed, no matter where you finish in the leaderboard. And that's available at all scarcities. The more expensive scarcities also pay a lot more money. And the second, the more aggressive method is by building strong, robust teams that can attack a multitude of divisions, or maybe if you've got a smaller gallery like myself and probably like you, hone in on a division or two depending on different circumstances, etc. Which is why the whiteboard that we're going to go to, as well as your notepad or your file on your phone or whatever it is you're going to do this alongside me with, is your Bible. It is the most important thing possible because this is your North Star. This is what's going to keep you true to the cause that is. Now, what am I putting on the board, first of all? What am I putting in my notepad, first of all? It is, I want to know the division that I want to attack the most. And with me prioritizing money above all else in terms of the competition, working with an established gallery, I've already got a skeleton of where to go. But if you're brand new or you're just starting out or you're revisiting all this, you're going to zero and doing this with me with a blank slate in the video today, then you really need to, first of all, understand where can you play cards with an existing gallery. If you're building one from scratch, what cards could you reasonably get within your budget that are talented enough to produce the scores capable of hitting rewards. If you're brand new, the best resource for all this is soraredata.com, where you can find all the historic scores, not just for players, but for leaderboards, what would win prizes, build concept lineups. You can go really nuts on theory stuff over there. But for most of you guys, you'll be members watching the entire video. You've probably got a gallery, you've probably got cards. And again, for most of you guys that'll be watching this with me, you'll have something set out there. And you maybe even know what your North Star is already. Is it special competitions? Am I going to actually hone in more now with the collection bonus and go after, you know, the special events, the special experiences that become available exclusive to my club? That's one way to go. And the final thing I would say before we move on to the board is no matter what your position is at the moment on Sorare, consider having everything that we're going through at the moment as the philosophy that you're going to set your club around, because philosophy of transfers, philosophy around style of play for the leaderboard is beautiful, but also philosophy of market trade and how do you actually turn cards around in the market, how do you upgrade and improve your squad is really an important thing to identify and make clear from the word go, because you'll be faced with lots of different decisions that will conflict off of each other. And you know, sometimes the best way to move through these situations is with consistent actions, because then you can take emotion out of it and, you know, do the best thing consistently for set parameters that you make, sober of body, mind, and spirit. That's what I do. That's what I preach. And, you know, for better or for worse, guys, you've seen me on this channel, whether it be members content or public content, you know, I stick to those decisions that I know I won't actually regret this decision, whether it be taking a chance on a prospect or whether it be an overspend or, you know, a multitude of different things, positive, negative. Some work out, some don't. But again, like I say, I don't really regret any transfers or any moves that I've made. I can't even think of any. And that's because I understand where my priorities lie and where my enjoyment comes from in the game primarily. Right, without any further ado, let's get over to the boards. Now, there's only two lists that matter. Your utility list and your transfer list. And for everything, no matter what your budget is, really, there's only three colours of pen you're going to need. Black, blue, and red. No one's using gold pens for limiteds. And if you're using pens for limiteds, you've not got uniques. Now, if you've got an established gallery, the first list you'll be filling out is your utility list and then your transfer list. But if you're just starting out, you'll be building a transfer list with a skeleton, with a provisional utility list built out. Now on this board, I've got a bucket of boxes and fields laid out. I play a lot of different divisions. You might only play one or two. You might even play even more. But I always like to have extra because I like to have aspirations of having more teams. I like to have aspirations of the teams moving up, and then I have other teams that can maybe fill in at their position, like from rare to rare pro to super rare, for example. So normally, before I build my utility list, I will prioritise the divisions first of all because I know my club and I know my gallery. So the first thing I'll do is I'll lay out all my goalkeepers in terms of ones that I know are absolutely nailed on, and then I can look at them and think about how good they are, and then I can assign a division against them. If this is a provisional transfer list, if this is you establishing, evaluating your current goalkeeper roster, what months of the year they all play in, how nailed on are they, as well as amount and variety as well. When I see something like this for my goalkeepers, straight away I can come over to my transfer list. Now goalkeepers are always going to be the gatekeeper into any division that you're going to be able to play or not, and I always recommend going for quality over quantity when it comes to the goalkeeper, because you want to make sure they're going to play consistently, and goalkeeper scores are always just going to be coin tosses, rolls of the dice, random occurrence. It's so hard to predict. But the first thing I'll do once I've laid out all these goalkeepers like this is then I'll try and lay a division against them, thinking about how good they are, not just as an individual keeper, but against the field as well, because there's lots of good goalkeepers out there. Now for me specifically, before I can even get to the divisions yet on this board, I need to lay out some key pieces, some core cards that are in my club, that are in my gallery already, that I know are immovable. I'm going to be owning them, I'm going to be playing them this year, and I want to make sure they've got a strong team built around them. The toughest part of this is always picking on that one name, because when you're laying this out, this is going to be the team that will compete into whatever division we can make it fit into, to do the best for my club, to do the best for me moving on. That can be a really tough decision, and when you look at just one name or one option, particularly if you have an existing gallery already, it can be a wee bit like, oh, he's not actually that decent, and I know I've got this other guy who might also do something. But for this point in time right now, I want to be playing with as many known quantities as possible. So I've went across as much of the main kind of team that I'm excited about holding and owning, and put a lot of value and a lot of stock, I feel like, in their card, and I've tried to put them out on the board as best as I possibly can. Now, there's so many moving parts, particularly for my defenders with new managers, potential transfers, Celtic and otherwise. I don't really feel confident writing any defenders on this board at the moment, and that in itself really does ring the alarm bells here at FC Barcelona, because other than Liam Scales, probably Angelino, I think that move is confirmed to Galatasaray. Who knows what happens with Guardiola if he goes into Pep Roulette. And I've got lots of other guys in different scarcities that are in different kind of question mark positions. I recently brought in Christopher Ayer because I know I've been dying for a nailed on champion Euro defender. He's definitely not nailed on, but I just could not pass up the opportunity to bring him in. And as I look at this board, I do feel a wee bit like, hope Christopher Ayer comes in good somehow. I do have plenty of options, and I'm pretty sure between the other 8 or 9 defenders I've got, 1 or 2 of them will always be serviceable between guys that featured quite heavily in last season, like Pablo Maffeo, maybe even somebody like Juan Iglesias, Greg Taylor, Rio Hatate, some of the stars as well. As Kieran Tierney, potentially, as well. So lots of options there, but so many question marks over the moment. So I know now, even at this point of the utility list, that defence is a major headache for me, is a major problem, and something that I need to let some time happen with some of the cards potentially, but also I should be very diligent on anything that could run onto this board as nailed on top end talent. Now obviously you guys will know there is a question mark over David Sorare as well, what he will be doing if he's going to be going to Real Madrid or staying at Getafe, or Getafe are talking about selling him regardless, they need the money. They were planning on selling Enes Unal, who's now actually, I wiped all of this clean for the video, but I do have an injury list, and Unal is right at the top of that, and he is February 24 is when he's expected back, which is not fun. So they were expecting to sell him, they can't, so sorry, I probably will be sold, and I hope it's to a club with aspirations. I hope it's Betis. That would be lovely if it was Betis. Feels like it'll be Real Madrid, but he's still on the board, and I'm not going to buy the rumour. Let's see the news with David Sorare, but I am cautious of that, and knowing the way my defence situation is sitting, it does also play a bit of a part into the D3 situation as well. So right across the board, with the goalkeeper potential of maybe having one taken out of the equation altogether, as well as maybe some super rare defenders that aren't even available to me, then the amount of these top end teams I can get out fully loaded with apex firepower is maybe questionable at this point. Now I know I've got plenty of depth and I've got plenty of names I could put all over this board from Celtic and from some European clubs as well, but genuinely and realistically, looking at them all right now, like, this summer is going to be crazy. There's going to be so many unexpected transfers, and particularly this early in the summer. I want to know just exactly where all my solid pieces are, where are my positions of strength, to make sure that I can maybe try and turn some around into elite teams that really push my club on. And I'm only going to know what's available for me to trade out without me compromising my top end qualities by really remembering, understanding and seeing the utility list that I've got. And one of the main tendencies we have when filling these out is to follow things into kind of regional breakdowns. Now the way things have went over the last 2 or 3 months, regions, honestly, like when we're laying chips down on the table, I'm not sure they're always going to be a priority division for me. Everyone is going to be totally different, but I love the flexibility of the cap divisions, because as I look at 2 out of my 5 rare goalkeepers here, they're in Champion America, and yeah, I've got Champion America contingent here, but how much do I actually need to just cover that calendar
when the Europeans are off season, as we live and breathe right now. We're halfway through the off season, it feels like already. So having these written up as a region format is also great to be doing as well, even if it's on a separate page or it's on a different draft of the board, because really sometimes you will want to push the boat out and really put your ultimate best team into All-Star, into 270, the special weekly, whatever it is that's going on. And, you know, really seeing actually, see if out of all these regions and stuff, if I did smash them all together, what could be the ultimate team that would come out of it? So stripping it right back and enhancing it, it looks like for me, like my big team, which will probably be All-Star Super Rare, it's not really going to be that Celtic heavy from my confidence point of view. Now, I don't know what happened with Daisen Maeda. I'm probably quite happy to back Kyogo and Rio Hatate kind of anywhere they go. McGregor will stay, and I've got some other cards that fit around that. But there's not many, I've got plenty, but there's not many right now that I would confidently write up on that board and say, yeah, they could play in my best team right now. But I do think we just about cover what I would think would be the strongest team. Now, I've rearranged my goalkeepers in terms of priority, in terms of how good they are, and then how certain I think they are to still be in their situation. Now, for the rares, I don't have much to worry about other than Joe Hart, but I think Brendan Rodgers will probably keep Joe Hart for this season. But Sorare has moved to third in the pecking order. He's circling the drain on the super rare goalkeepers. I do know I've got a little bit of insurance up my sleeve, potentially with Craig Gordon coming back from injury, but I am aware that he's at the bottom there, and I cannot put any real strength against that now until I get some sort of cover for that. Goalkeeper management, especially when you're looking at your priority lineups and really looking at how everything's going to fit together, really does dictate how strong your teams are. So even if I was to remove Sorare out of this picture, basically have by deprioritising him because he's behind David Marshall, who at the age of 37, 38, again, trust him for this season. Scores aren't always that great, and it's hard to plan for him beyond this, you know. So the goalkeeper stakes were on high alert. For the rares, it's kind of okay. It's 2 for Europe and 2 for America. They'll overlap quite easily, and we do have some other pieces in the back of the gallery that could come into this. But the goalkeepers really do underpin everything, and I do build this with the thought of if Sorare does get wiped out, there's an amazing trickle-down effect so that teams actually get stronger as a result of losing them, and it's not as if it removes a strategy from me altogether, if that makes sense.
If you enjoyed that content and you want to see the full video, it's available right now in the member section. On top of that, we do a live stream every week, as well as exclusive members content like this kind of level of strategy stuff. To become a member, all you need to do is click on this link right here. That'll then get you into the members tab on the channel, and you can become a member for £1 a month or £2 a month through YouTube and Google Play. As soon as you're a member, you can watch all the member content that's ever been here. The member section is over 2 years old. There's lots of Q&As, lots of strategy builders, as well as that in-depth stuff that we've been doing recently. Everything as well, of course, is in the description of the video if you get lost or the screen goes away from you or whatever. Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and retweet, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.